Do you turn to gambling to escape negative emotions such as sadness or boredom? There's a list of 20 questions that you can check out that can help you to determine if you or someone you know might be dealing with a gambling addiction. And this idea of escaping through gambling is one of those questions. Today, we're going to dive into what those 20 questions are and what to do if you answer yes to too many of them. My name's Rob and I'm a recovering compulsive gambler. I made my last bet on November the 12th of 2022, and since then it's become my personal mission to help you to get in recovery faster for a gambling addiction than I did. My aim is always to expose the truth about gambling and the truth about gambling addiction so that you can make more informed decisions in your life to hopefully live a happier and healthier one. If you're tired of the chaos that gambling's bringing into your life, you're not alone. There's millions of people out there who are struggling with a gambling addiction right now, and many of them are struggling in silence. There's no need to feel like you're alone in this fight anymore. If you want to live a happier and healthier life, smash that subscribe button to join our community. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the 20 questions to determine if you're a gambling addict. First question is, did you lose time or work from school due to your gambling? This question addresses how gambling could interfere with your responsibilities and your obligations in your personal and professional life. If gambling's ever caused you to skip out on school or miss work, it may be a sign of a deeper issue there. Moving on, the second question is, has gambling ever made your home life unhappy? Gambling can absolutely strain relationships with family and loved ones and lead to conflict and emotional turmoil. If you find that gambling's really negatively affected your home life, it's essential to take a step back and kind of take a closer look at your gambling habits. The third question asks, did gambling ever affect your reputation? Problematic gambling can lead to a damaged reputation, especially if you've been borrowing money that you haven't paid back or you've engaged in some dishonesty in your finances with friends and family. The fourth question is, have you ever felt remorse after gambling? Feelings of guilt and regret often come with a gambling session if you're a gambling addict, and it indicates that you can recognize the negative consequences of your own actions, even when you haven't been willing to step away from them yet. The fifth question is, did you ever gamble to get money with which to pay debts or otherwise solve financial difficulties? Using gambling as a way to escape financial struggles is a huge red flag for potential addiction, as it should only be seen as entertainment. This is a clear sign that you're not viewing it in a healthy way. If you're using gambling money for any other reason but entertainment, it's a big problem. Question 6 is, did gambling ever cause a decrease in your ambition or efficiency? When gambling becomes a priority over other important aspects of your life, it might be time to reassess your relationship with gambling before it becomes the only thing that actually brings you meaning. The seventh question addresses chasing losses. After losing, did you feel like you must return as soon as possible and win back your losses? Chasing losses can lead to a dangerous cycle of compulsive gambling and financial distress. It creates this situation where you're constantly chasing something that you can never get back completely. You're either sinking too much money or time into gambling. The eighth question is, after a win, did you have a strong urge to return and win more? And this question highlights the gambler's high and how winning can intensify the desire to keep going. You saw it happen once, right? Why can't it happen again? The ninth question asks, did you often gamble until your last dollar was gone? This is a telltale sign of a gambling addiction. Gambling beyond your financial limits is a sign that your behavior might be out of control. But for gambling addicts, money is essentially just the fuel by which they can stay in action. Did you ever borrow to finance your gambling? Borrowing money to gamble is a clear indication of problematic gambling behavior that might lead to deeper financial troubles. Question 11. Have you ever sold anything to finance gambling? Selling possessions to fund gambling activities can have really severe consequences for your well-being and for your stability, as the things you sell could be really important, such as a house or a car. The 12th question asks, were you ever reluctant to use gambling money for normal expenditures? This question highlights how gambling funds might be perceived as separate from everyday finances. I've heard many stories of gambling addicts who have bet big in the casino and then turn around and start using coupons in the grocery store just to save a few cents on a different pack of hot dogs. It isn't a logical situation. The 13th question is, did gambling make you careless of the welfare of yourself or your family? Problematic gambling leads to neglecting everything else but the bet, and this includes your family and your personal well-being. The 14th question is, did you ever gamble for longer than you had planned? This emphasizes the loss of control and discipline that we have in our gambling behaviors as gambling addicts. Question 15 is, have you ever gambled to escape worry, trouble, boredom, loneliness, grief, or loss? Using gambling as an escape from life's challenges can indicate a very deep emotional issue, as you're covering up something with gambling as your means of doing so. The 16th question addresses risky behaviors. Have you ever committed or considered committing an illegal act to finance your gambling? And obviously engaging in illegal activities to support your gambling is a huge red flag of a gambling addiction. Question 17 is, did gambling cause you to have difficulty in sleeping? Sleep disturbance may be a physical manifestation of the emotional toll that gambling can take on your life. If you're not able to sleep because you're stressed out, anxious, or you're anticipating your next bet, all of these are big red flags and negative consequences of gambling addiction. Question 18 is, do arguments, disappointments, or frustration create within you an urge to gamble? Turning to gambling during challenging times can be a coping mechanism that can lead to severe addiction. The 19th question is, have you ever had an urge to celebrate any good fortune by a few hours of gambling? Celebratory gambling can be a very slippery slope towards problematic behavior. If you're always celebrating the good times by creating bad times, your good times might start happening less. Lastly, have you ever considered self-destruction or suicide as a result of your gambling? This question is one of the most serious warning signs of a gambling addiction and should never be taken lightly. If you answered yes to 7 or more of these questions, it might indicate that you or someone you know is struggling with a gambling addiction. Seeking help from a mental health professional and joining a support group can be crucial steps towards recovery. I answered yes to 19 out of the 20 questions, and it wasn't until going to a support group meeting that I really began to feel like I could recover and live a good life going forward. I talk about what you can expect when going to a support group meeting in this video linked above. Remember, there's no shame in asking for help, and there are resources out there that are available to you to support you on your journey towards a happier and healthier life. I try to make those resources available here on my channel for free, so make sure to keep an eye out for new content as I'm constantly posting videos to assist you in your recovery journey. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone that you think might benefit from what we talked about today. And please remember that if you're struggling with a gambling addiction, you are not alone. And life does get better as you stay away from the bet. But all of that happens one day at a time.